If you're a US citizen and you see ICE detaining someone, here's what you can do to protect that person and maybe stop a wrongful deportation. If you see ICE detaining someone in public, stay calm, but don't walk away. If you're seeing someone being arrested on the street, on the sidewalk, outside of their place of work, pull out your phone and record everything. As long as you're not interfering physically, you can document what's going on. Focus on the officers, what they say, what the person being detained is saying, and any aggression or anything wrong that you may be seeing. Ask loudly but respectfully, what's your name and badge number to the officer? What agency are you with? Why are you detaining this person? This creates public pressure and lets ICE know that people are watching. And try to get information from the person who's being detained. If you can, ask them their name and their date of birth. Ask if they have family or a lawyer that you can contact for them. Even yelling, "Do you want me to call someone?" can be of help. And you can remind them to not answer any questions. You can remind them to ask for a lawyer and to not sign anything. You can literally say these things out loud while they're being detained. Now, again, you cannot
ICE is targeting anyone who came to the border during the last 2 years. It doesn't matter if there's a case pending, an appeal, they don't care. They're detaining and doing an expedited removal. I had a client who had been here for over 20 years with valid TPS status. The problem was he picked up a controlled substance violation, got convicted, and he lost his TPS status. Guess what? ICE picked him up and put him under expedited removal. When they picked him up, he said, "I've been here for 20 years. And I said, "Well, prove it." Of course, he had no documents on him. When his girlfriend called our office, they had been moving him from state to state so that they could deport him to El Salvador. We found out who the deportation officer was and emailed all the documents to prove not only the last 2 years, but the last 20. ICE had no choice and they brought him back to California and released him. I don't want to be paranoid, but it's probably a good idea to protect yourself from expedited removal and have those documents on you to prove that you've been here in the United States for over 2 years. Knowledge is power. Stay informed.
Imagine honking your horn can get you deported. Well, a father of a 4-month-old US citizen has been deported, and the way it happened is ridiculous. He was arrested after honking his horn at what he turned out to be an undercover ICE agent. That minor act triggered a chain of events that ended with his deportation despite deep community ties and a newborn at home. ICE claimed he had an old deportation order, but his attorney says his rights were violated. He was denied due process and rushed out of the country without a fair hearing. Local leaders are sounding the alarm on this because he just honked his horn. This part is a wider pattern across the US where families are separated even when children are American citizens. All right, he's from Brazil, I believe, and because of this, he has been deported. This isn't just a legal failure, it's a moral one. This is insane. They are forcing or making people in this country live in fear of ICE. This is what is happening. Comment your thoughts on this and let me know what you think.
Donald Trump says he's going to rescind the policy that prevents ICE agents from entering schools to arrest undocumented immigrants. This could lead to parents being stopped when they drop off their children at school. This could lead to students being arrested by ICE. And these implications are enormous. Over 4.5 million children who attend public school have at least one undocumented parent. And it's estimated that 750,000 children who are going to public school are undocumented themselves. All of this is going to be challenged in court, whether Donald Trump can enforce federal law over local and state laws, whether this policy would violate Plyler v. Doe, where the Supreme Court ruled that every child, no matter of immigration status, is entitled to an education and that schools cannot ask about immigration status in order to enroll students. And of course, parents have to start asking their school districts what their policies are. Generally, school districts do not have to report anybody under one small scenario where the school safety officer is employed by local police. And of course, this may also violate the Family Education and Privacy Rights Act, a law passed by Congress, where school districts have to maintain strict privacy policies, where students can't be identified and have their information be given to authorities. That includes SAT exams. That includes enrollment forms. The only exception to that rule is students who are on F visas. So this is all going to be fought out in court.
Guys, we have some breaking news that is probably not going to be on the front page, but rest assured, it's happening. ICE is reportedly detaining undocumented migrants at their immigration court hearings. Yeah, you heard that right. In multiple states like Texas, New York, and Georgia, immigration attorneys are reporting that their clients are being picked up before or right after their hearings. Some have even been withdrawn from the courtroom. These migrants are following the legal process. Many are asylum seekers. They've committed no crime. They're showing up to court as was ordered. And what do they get for it? For following the law like everyone asked them to? They get detained. Legal experts are calling this a chilling effect. People are now scared to attend their own hearings. And when you miss your hearing, you get issued an automatic deportation order. It seems like a lose-lose for them. So if you think immigration court should be about due process, the human right of due process, and not ambush, then please start paying attention. Contact your representatives, support local advocacy organizations, share this info, get it out, make sure people know what's going on. Hit that follow button for more.
Hello. Lately, TikTok on my For You has been sending me a bunch of videos about undocumented immigrants being arrested. Most of them are being snatched from work sites, and they're also snatching people when they go to a hearing, to a court hearing, right, in regards to their immigration status. And I don't know what technicality they're using, but as soon as they leave the court, they're being arrested. Okay? So what this is going to cause is that people are going to fail to appear in court, and yes, they're going to get an arrest warrant, right? They're going to issue a deportation order, but they'll just move from wherever they live. They'll just move, go somewhere else. Okay, have them look for them. Anyways, a lot of these arrests are made without an arrest warrant or a deportation order, right? They're going to job sites and snatching people, right? Just because they're brown. Just because they're brown, they're just snatching them, okay? They're going to immigration courts, like the one in Phoenix, and as soon as they walk out, they snatch them right there. You know what I mean? They're binding kids. They're putting tie-ons on kids, putting their hands behind their back as if they were hardened criminals. But this is the thing. They're not really going after the criminals. So what's going on? Right? Why are they just doing an arrest for people who don't have warrants, who don't have deportation orders? Right? Why are they not arresting the criminals? Why? I want to know why. Now, this is something that also upsets me. If you are an undocumented immigrant in the United States, okay, you know you're undocumented. You know that there is a high possibility that you will be deported. So you need to have a plan B. What's going to happen if they take me from my work site? What's going to happen if I go to a court hearing, right? And then, because I have a temporary status, you know, I have a social security number, I work, I have a temporary status here, but I need to appear before a judge. What happens when I leave the court? What if I'm arrested for whatever technicality? They need to have a plan. If you are one, you need to have a plan. What's going to happen to my children? Okay? You need to go to a notary and have somebody else take care of your children. Okay? What's going to happen to my money? Okay? What's going to happen to the assets that I have created in the years that I've been undocumented in the United States? You need to take care of all of that, okay? And not be crying when you get arrested. See, when I see all these people crying after they're being arrested by ICE, it's not that I don't have any empathy. It gets me angry because they know they're here without documents, so they need to have a plan. You can't just come over here and pop a bunch of kids and then leave them at risk. Okay? You need to come to the U.S. with a plan. Okay? And if you're going to be undocumented, there needs to be a plan for when you get deported. But I notice a lot of people, they have no plan whatsoever, right? No plan. It's like getting caught with your drawers and you're on your knees, on your what do you call it, on your heels. This really, really bothers me. Right? Like just now I saw a lady, she was crying, right? Her kids, they were at school. She should have had a plan, okay? For, in case she got deported. She didn't know if she was going to get deported walking out of a Walmart, right? She didn't know if they were going to knock on her door. Her kids were still going to be at school. So, because that can happen, if you're an undocumented immigrant, you need to have a plan. Okay? It's not the end of the world. It may seem the end of the world if you don't have a backup plan. So, if you are legal, or if you're a U.S. citizen, and you have a friend, okay? If you have a friend, if you know somebody that you appreciate and you know they're undocumented, please wake them up. Tell them they need to have a plan, okay? Because it can happen. And most likely, if something can happen, it will probably happen. Okay, so tell them, hey, you need to have a plan. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to your kids, to your assets? Okay? Where are you going to go? When they deport you, where are you going to stay in Mexico? Because some people have been in the United States 30 years for some reason. They have not been able to get their papers. And you know what? They didn't invest in anything in Mexico, for example. So when they get deported, first of all, the family they left is not the family they're going to find, right? Especially 30 years later. 20, 30 years later, the people that they left behind, most of them are probably gone. They're not there anymore. Many people won't even know who they are. Family members may not even recognize them, right? So if they never invested in having a small place over there, they're going to be lost. They're going to be completely lost. So please, you can help them by telling them that they immediately need to make a plan and they need to know what they're going to do once they are getting deported. Because it's not like in the old days. In the old days, they would deport people. A week later, you'd see them right back at the work site. That doesn't happen anymore, okay? The border is closed.
There's more. There's always more. Like I said, it's like having a fire hydrant hose just put in your face on full blast. Oh, you ready? Worcester father of a 4-month-old child was deported to Brazil after Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials signed a deportation authorization in his name without his permission. Did you hear what I just said? They forged his name. They forged the man's name, picked him up. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his full name, but it is the last name of D'Souza, the partner of 21-year-old Augusta Clara Moura and father of her baby, was deported to Brazil from his detention center in Louisiana on May 25th. And that's according to his attorney, immigration lawyer from Chelsea-based firm George's Coat Law. Now, D'Souza was arrested by ICE on May 7th after he honked at an undercover car with ICE agents in Worcester while he was driving to work. Let that sink in. So in the wake of his deportation, D'Souza's partner has been feeling very sad, broken down, basically, and she and her 4-month-old son will leave for Brazil on June 6th to be with D'Souza, according to the attorney. But what we also want to look at is the fact that this man was not given due process. He was not given due process, folks, and this is unconstitutional. Now, according to his lawyer, he isn't sure what form that he isn't sure what the ICE agents signed, and said he was not provided a copy when he asked the agency. Even though his client refused, his attorney stated that ICE informed D'Souza that they had signed the document on his behalf. And so when they asked, when he asked about it, they basically said, well, we already signed it for you. You're going back. Now, if you're not concerned, you should already be concerned. Have you seen some of the content that is currently out there talking about what is currently happening with immigrants who are here in this country? So you honk, you blow your horn on your way to work, and that causes you to get picked up? What are we doing right now? Anyway, for more news and information, head over to brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and Brownstone Living Magazine. Follow me on Substack as well for journalistic commentary and content. I'll go live a little bit later. I'm working on a couple of things, wrapping it up for you guys. We'll see you around.